Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to another episode of the SIL Legal Lounge podcast Let's Talk Law, a show where we talk about different areas of law and policy in a frank and easy to understand manner so that everyone can end up learning something new. My name is Nida Tareen and I have been a legal educator since 2004, and I am also co-founder and principal of the School of International Law, a recognized teaching center for the University of London International Programs. The topic that we have today is one which is often one of the most misunderstood and controversial practices in Pakistan's immigration system: offloading. Is offloading legal? And where does the power come from? And what does the Constitution say about your right to travel? Our guest for today is someone who can answer these questions for us very well. We are joined today by Mr. Malik Ahad Amir Awan. Malik Ahad Amir Awan is an advocate of the High Courts of Pakistan and a partner at Gulrez Ahad and Co. With over 8 years of extensive litigation experience, he has established a strong reputation for providing strategic legal counsel and effective courtroom advocacy across a broad spectrum of legal matters. His practice encompasses constitutional, criminal, and civil litigation, and he has also developed considerable expertise in matters involving travel restrictions, having represented over 80 such cases alone. Thank you so much, Ahad, for joining us today. I'm so glad you could be here.
Thank you for having me, ma'am. It is a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. All right, Ahad, let's just jump into this straight away, and I'll start with the most basic question. So, most people assume that if they have a valid passport and visa, they can travel. Is that true?
It should be true, but it is not true.
Okay, can you explain that?
And the recent saga of offloading basically means that to restrict a person from travel, and it is done by an immigration authority. And in Pakistan, it is done by the FIA. The
Yeah.
FIA offloads a person, and when a person is offloaded, it is not necessary that his or her name is in the travel restriction list.
Okay.
FIA offloads people on mere suspicion. And I'm going to
What
explain
kind of
why it happens,
suspicion?
but
What kind of
they
suspicion?
suspect they suspect that the traveler does not will not come back or does not possess a real work visa and is cheating the authorities, or he does not have a residence over there and he's going to be involved in some illegal immigration. This is what they have submitted before the courts, before the National Assembly Standing Committee, and this is what, because there is no such thing as offloading. It does not exist in the legal dictionary, nor there's no such terminology. This terminology is used because they affix a stamp on your passport stating that to be offloaded from a particular flight.
All right. Ahad, can you just explain the difference between, because I've always heard of the exit
Easy.
control list. So is that a different thing, the exit control list and offloading? Thoda sa, can you explain it for our
Yes,
viewers?
yes. Exit control is to hai. It is basically a restriction from traveling, from fleeing the country, and for that you require an approval from the federal government. When a power is conferred upon the federal government, it means the prime minister and the cabinet. And exit control is basically it was the first list barring people to from fleeing country. Over the years, there is a development that it has been there are more lists which stop people from traveling abroad. For instance, the PNIL, which is the Provisional National Identification List, the Passport Control List, and the Red List. They're different lists and they're regulated by different authorities. So, uh, just being offloaded is being stopped from a particular flight from traveling to a destination. And if you are offloaded on basis that your name is encapsulated in some of these lists, that's something different.
Okay, so but if your name is not on one of these lists, you can still be offloaded. That's what you're
You
saying.
can, yes, people have challenged this before different courts. The National Assembly has called the Ministry of Interior and the FIA for explanation. And the reason why this started was in 2023, we remember that boat carrying or a mini ship carrying Pakistani illegal immigrants and immigrants from different countries who were trying to cross the European border illegally. That ship met an accident, and in result, it made it to the headlines and from to local headlines as well as international headlines. After that, the immigration authorities tightened the process and made it more strict to travel. And if you're basically, if you don't have an accommodation, you do not have a return ticket, or you're traveling to a country which offers routes of illegal immigration, so maybe some country in the Far East, maybe a country you want to, which is near to Europe, and FIA authorities suspect that it has no potential tourism, and the reason why a citizen is traveling, that he'll eventually escape, he'll eventually flee to some another country, and one more reason is that in the Gulf we've seen many Pakistani people who and the people from the subcontinent who were involved in criminal activities. In order to curtail them, the authorities have made a strict check and balance at the airports. Many citizens
So,
have challenged
sorry, please
these
continue.
many citizens have challenged these impugned actions before different honorable high courts, the Islamabad High Court and the Lahore High Court, if to be specific. And courts have asked FIA to provide a written explanation of offloading citizens. For instance, if you are offloaded at an airport, by law, you'll get a written order signed by the relevant immigration officer that what is the reason of your offloading.
Right.
And precisely, the Constitution does not have any article which restricts movement. Rather, Article 15 provides for free movement of any citizen in accordance with law.
ऑलराइट सो आज जो मुझे समझ आ रही है आप बेसिकली ये कह रहे हैं कि बेस्ड ऑन मेयर सस्पिशन यू कैन बी स्टॉप्ड एंड यू कैन बी आस्क्ड टू
Be
बेसिकली आप
offloaded.
उसको ऑफलोड कर सकते हैं राइट तो
Hmm.
what remedies do you have then? Let's suppose this happens to me, God forbid. What remedies does a person have?
There was no formal order of offloading, so we would not have any departmental remedy for that. लेकिन
Okay.
अब after the decision, after the Honorable Lahore High Court directed the FIA authorities to make a legislation on this and forward this to your relevant ministry for formal enactment, the FIA has given a provisional standing order to, it provides a departmental appeal. For instance, if you are in a list, you even then after the 26th constitutional amendment, you cannot approach the high courts directly. You'll have to avail the departmental remedies first. You'll have to write to the relevant department. For example, if you're in passport control list, you'll have to write to the Directorate
True,
of
but isme
Immigration.
to you're saying
My,
there is no department involved.
they have introduced a standing order recently, and after that, we have a departmental appeal before the DGFIA in that. But
Okay.
still, we can invoke the constitutional jurisdiction under Article 199.
All right. Okay. So Ahad, but I have a question, not a legal question, but one which I think everybody will probably, want an answer to. So you have some people, not everybody can afford travel very easily. There are some people जो अपनी सारी जिंदगी मेहनत करके जो है अपना वीजा लगाते हैं, अपनी टिकट खरीदते हैं. We have a lot of such people, especially जो who are going abroad to work or for any reason. What happens, what remedy do you provide to such a person जिसको आप offload कर देते हैं, he or she they have missed their flight, their ticket is wasted. Is there any remedy for such people? Has the court introduced any such remedy? Have you seen any such case?
Recently, my Lord Justice Rahil Kamran gave a judgment. उसमें उन्होंने कहा कि ऑफलोडिंग को इलीगल करार दिया था, but for the damages and for the return of the expenses, that very person will have to approach the civil courts once the offloading has been declared illegal. उससे पहले तो वो नहीं हो सकता, लेकिन उसके लिए उसको सिविल कोर्ट अप्रोच करना पड़ेगा.
लेकिन आप कह रहे हैं कि only once the offloading has been
Offloading
declared
has been declared
illegal.
illegal.
So
If it
there
is
is no instant remedy or any help for them on an immediate basis. So
the
that's unfortunate.
instant remedy is, and it's very unfortunate. However, the courts have been very active in this. They have allowed people to travel और बहुत जल्दी उन्होंने इसको किया और इलीगल डिक्लेयर किया ऑफलोडिंग को काफी सिनेरियोज में. एक in a case recently, the traveler did not possess a very big bank statement. It is no legal excuse to offload him or restrict him from travel कि उसकी बैंक स्टेटमेंट इतनी बड़ी नहीं है. So the honorable court held that there must be cogent reasons provided to the traveler if he is being stopped.
बट इसमें एक और क्वेश्चन आहद आ जाता है कि as far as what you just said कि the bank statement isn't good enough or something,
और
This
वो
is
कोई
this is
लीगल
something
चीज नहीं
that
है।
shouldn't the embassy, I mean, when he's applying for a visa, these are concerns for them. So if the embassy has cleared you, अगर आपको visa मिल चुका है, then why are we revisiting all those reasons again at the immigration counter?
ये इसका एक ही जवाब है कि जी दिस इज प्योरली इलीगल। जो है आप उसके डॉक्यूमेंट्स वेरीफाई करें। फॉर इंस्टेंस अगर आप एक वर्क वीजा पे जा रहे हैं तो एक डिपार्टमेंट बकायदा बना हुआ है, प्रोटेक्टरेट ऑफ इमिग्रेंट्स, उससे आप अपना वीजा क्रॉस चेक करवा रहे हैं, उसके ऊपर भी उसकी भी
Exactly.
स्टैंप लगी हुई इफ यूर ऑन वर्क वीजा। ये उसकी उस सूरत में है। एंड इवन इफ यूर ऑन विजिट वीजा, इट इज योर फंडामेंटल राइट टू ट्रैवल। The restrictions imposed after 2023 are not only illegal but unlawful as well। और एंड बिसाइड्स, और जो काफी लोगों के नाम ट्रैवल रिस्ट्रिक्शन में आ गए हैं। फॉर इंस्टेंस इन द पासपोर्ट कंट्रोल लिस्ट इन द PNIL, द कोर्ट्स हैव रिपीटेडली हेल्ड देम वायलेटिव ऑफ द फंडामेंटल राइट्स। और कि जिस मुल्क को, और इसमें वो लोग भी हैं जो मुख्तलिफ मुल्कों से, मिडिल ईस्ट से खास तौर पे डिपोर्ट होके आए हैं, और उनको फिर वो कंट्रीज वीजा इशू कर रही हैं। तो कोर्ट्स भी यही कहती हैं कि आप, जब उस कंट्री को एतराज नहीं तो आपको क्या एतराज है।
So then why is this still happening? If the courts have declared this to be illegal, तो फिर ये अभी तक क्यों हो रहा है? Then what is the problem?
देखिए, द कोर्ट्स हैव बीन कॉन्स्टेंटली डिक्लेयरिंग दीज एक्ट्स टू बी इलीगल, बट द थिंग इज दैट the enactment of the SRO, the recent SRO 2026, has given FIA the power to offload a citizen on some, not on mere suspicion, to prevent or curtail the criminal activities done by a Pakistani citizen abroad. And if there is sufficient material with the FIA, the courts would not declare that very offloading to be illegal. So this is basically an act which can be challenged, which can be assailed before any competent forum. And after that, it is for the departmental head, or if you not get your relief from there, you can assail that before any of the high courts.
I understand that, but it just seems like a very cumbersome process. I mean, you will eventually get a remedy. It is eventually going to be declared illegal, but for the time being, आप जो हो बहुत मतलब आपको प्रॉब्लम बहुत ज्यादा फेस करनी पड़ेगी.
And the mental, it's not just about the financial loss, जो mental agony लोगों को होती है। For example, someone is traveling for his religious rituals, या रिलीजियस रिचुअल्स ना भी करके कोई किसी मीटिंग के लिए जा रहा है, किसी इस तरह के काम के लिए जा रहा है कि जो वो मिस कर देगा, तो वो मेंटल एग्नी जो है वो इररिपेरेबल लॉस के ज़मरे में आ जाती है।
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about people who have been deported from other countries back to Pakistan and then they are allowed to travel again to their country of origin? उनके लिए क्या hurdles हैं? What is the court doing about that?
What the director of immigration does, they get a letter from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, जो उनकी एम्बेसी से जहाँ से डिपोर्ट हुए हैं वहां से डाटा इकट्ठा करते हैं। एंड द मोस्ट, ज्यादातर लोग जो होते हैं पाकिस्तान से जाते हैं और मिडिल ईस्ट में होते हैं, बाकी कंट्रीज में, तो वो लेबर क्लास होती हैं।
Hmm.
If they get arrested once for a petty crime, they get deported. What the Directorate of Immigration does, they put their name in passport control list for 5 years, and for 5 years they're not allowed to travel according to them. And even if they have a valid work visa, they can get their name removed without coming to the court, but they are not allowed to travel to any Gulf country. And the courts have held this violative of fundamental rights. The Lahore High Court, in a reported judgment at the Multan bench, had struck down the very clause, जो clause 18 थी, लेकिन उसको डिपार्टमेंट ने फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कोर्ट में चैलेंज किया और वहां से उनके पास इंजंक्शन है।
Okay.
लेकिन ये जो 5 years वाली पनिशमेंट है, ये भी इलीगल कोर्ट ने करार दे दी है। क्योंकि पासपोर्ट रूल्स जो हैं वो 2022 में 2022 में इनैक्ट हुए थे।
Yeah.
दिस इज अ वेरी रिसेंट लॉ, तो उस पे जूरिस्प्रूडेंस जो है वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता डेवलप हो रही है।
So, Ahad, generally, what I have taken away from our conversation is that there is a huge gap between what the courts are saying and how the administrative authorities are acting, right? अब यही बात है.
Right. And even the intent of the legislature, there's a gap between the administrative action, the
Yeah.
judicial orders, and the legislative encapsulations. There's a big
So
gap between
basically, what
these
the
three
law
things.
says. So the law is very clear, but you're saying that administratively वो चीज follow नहीं हो रही है. So, if
Precisely.
our listeners take away one thing from today's discussion, what should they know about their rights when they are traveling abroad from Pakistan?
Actually, there's a big gap between the what the judiciary is saying through the judgments, the administrative actions, and the legislative intent. इन तीनों चीजों में बहुत बड़ा एक गैप है और वो जो है कोर्ट्स उसको बार बार इलीगल कर रही हैं लेजिस्लेचर क्योंकि बिकॉज दिस इज बेसिकली a recent law जो
Yeah.
passport rules हैं they have been enacted in 2022 and the PNIL got was enacted through a standing order in 2018. So this jurisprudence is on a developing stage and the legislature has just been enacted. There is no, it has not been reviewed yet. तो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता ये डेवलप हो रही है. If a person traveling abroad gets offloaded, he must know that he can file a departmental appeal and then assail the impugned actions before any of the high courts under Article 199. And because the Constitution does not restrict anyone from free movement. Article 199 is basically the constitutional jurisdiction of the high courts. A citizen can approach any of high courts, the concerning high court, and file a writ petition under Article 199 of the Constitution. Basically, Article 15 of the Constitution guarantees freedom of movement, and there is no specific article which guarantees freedom of movement abroad. But if it is read with Article 4, which requires every citizen to be dealt with accordance with law, so the Constitution guarantees you to be dealt in accordance with law, and the Constitution guarantees your freedom of movement.
All right. So this was actually very, very helpful, Ahad. Thank you so much because honestly, what you have told us, it's a little concerning given that, we could be traveling with our visa, we could be traveling with a valid ticket, we could have everything in order. But if there is any suspicion, passengers are being offloaded. So it's good to know what our rights are, what the mechanism is for appeal. Thank you so much. And I hope that everyone who was watching found this helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them to us at info@sil.edu.pk and we'll try our best that Ahad answers all of them. Thank you, Ahad, for being here today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I've been watching all your episodes. बहुत ज़्यादा helpful है और क्या please keep up with the good work.
Thank you so much. That's really nice to hear. And we sincerely hope that, like I said, everyone ends up learning something at the end of each episode. So thank you so much, Ahad.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, and Allah Hafiz.